Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Monday meditation. Today is Monday, June 15th, and we just crossed over the threshold of the new moon in Gemini, and we're about 15 hours beyond that point in time when the peak of the new moon had happened. So we are now actively in this energy of Gemini and in the new beginning phases, this new lunar cycle where we are able to plant seeds for our future and working with these energies. And just a little bit about Gemini, we are working with the mind, we are working with the thought processes that we have, we're working with learning. And it's higher learning that is actually in alignment with our soul. So you might be feeling called to learn something new at this time that is going to help you with your spiritual development, maybe with the work that you do in the world. You may also be experiencing overactivity in the mind. And we're also in, obviously, the month of June. So June governs, as I said in my previous videos, the arc line, the halo, the energetic nucleus of our aura. So this is all about our projections. It's all about our stored memories, thought processes, emotions. It's everything we've ever experienced. It's the Akashic Records keeper in our own field. So we could have this tendency to feel like a lot is coming through at this time. And some of it could be very heavy for us. And on the other end of the spectrum, it could be a lot of downloads or inspirations or ideas. The fact is, though, with this speed up of energy in the mind, it may cause a little bit of a turbulence in being able to fully process and integrate the information coming through. So there could be this feeling of being anxious or overwhelmed from it, or even just wanting to space out and move in a completely different direction from what is coming through because of the nature of how it is coming through. So today's meditation will be working with our mind to release the energy from the mind. So it's basically, another name for the meditation is brain drain meditation, taken from the Kundalini yoga tradition. And it is for powerful energy. It is basically to tap into your energy reserve, to give you energy, because basically it's releasing the energy from the mind to give you more access to energy within your own energetic field. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Carolyn Marie Yakopich. I'm the founder of Soul Awakening School. And remember to subscribe and like, and I'll be here every Monday with new meditations and every Wednesday with oracle readings that are tuning into the energy of the collective. So with today's meditation, I just want to talk a little bit more about the symbolism of Gemini, because those are the typical things that we hear, when we think about astrology in general. They're very basic in terminology. I recently spent some time in Egypt, and I do bring groups to Egypt now. And this October, I have another journey coming up. It's a mystery school pilgrimage on the Nile. And if you're interested, I'll drop some information below in the description. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because the third temple that we visit is a Gemini temple. And Gemini represents the twins. So there's a temple called Komombo, and it represents our third chakra. So we have the entry point of the third chakra at the navel, and then we move into the solar plexus before rising up into the heart center. So this area of the third chakra governs the duality before making the choice and the clear direction of entering into our heart space to come into the truth. So this is where we could get into a little bit of a battle within the self with others about I'm right, you're wrong, or maybe this, maybe that, I'm not sure, getting very confused, really in that polarity, going back and forth. It's like when we have a decision to make and we get stuck in our mind, and it's just like teeter-tottering between the pros and the cons, and not really having clarity of what it is that we are supposed to do that's in alignment for us. So this is the essence of that Gemini energy. And a lot of it too, because it governs the mind. This is where we can get stuck, is in our minds. So it's really important to do practices that will help you to come into presence, into single pointed focus, Single pointed focus is what we do when we meditate. It allows us to be fully present in the here and now, and it allows us to release all of our tethering to the past experiences that we've had. Because the moment we come into presence, nothing exists outside of this moment, right? So it's a fresh beginning. And now we're moving into this fresh new energy of the new moon in Gemini. So asking yourself, what am I ready to leave behind when it comes to uncertainty and that doubt that arises? And it's really, again, like I said, that choice point. This temple of Komombo is an exact replication of two temples in one, where the two doors are exactly in the same spot, the two windows are exactly in the same spot, the pillars are in the same spot, the Holy of Holies at the very back are in the same spot on either side, with the altar on the same spot on either side. And then when we move to the very, very back, behind the temple and the back wall, we have a beautiful image of the winged goddess Mat. So Mat is the goddess of justice, of truth, and judgment, right? And judgment of truth, because at the time of death, there is the story that Anubis, the god of the underworld, will lead you into Mat's room where the scales of justice are. And in her room, in her chapel, we are weighing our heart against the ostrich feather, which represents truth. So Mat is the winged goddess with an ostrich feather in her crown, and that crown represents the truth. And when your heart is as light as a feather at the time of death, you are welcomed into the afterlife. So, when we have, say, our heart is really, really heavy against this truth, we are like looking at the fact that we basically have more karma to clear. We have more work to do. We can return to earth yet again to work through our karmas, our dramas, our traumas, anything that we have unresolved, right? So our purpose here is to really clear as much as we can within our consciousness to come back to the truth of who we are. And the truth of who we are is an expression of divinity. And when we are in that clear expression, we are able to see the truth everywhere we go. And it's not about telling people how to be or what the truth is or what we believe. We can. However, it's about embodying that state of being. It's about being a co-creator with God, Goddess, and allowing what is here to be birthed through you to come through you, to be shared. And by you walking, breathing, living this truth, you are shining light into the world. You are part of the solution in the world. So really it is about embodiment above all else. We can talk all we want about concepts and beliefs and, we might know on a, even knowing in our heart, knowing in our mind the truth, but actually living it, walking the talk. And just walking without the talk is even better, But I mean, some of us are here to be teachers and leaders and, sharers of, the wisdom that runs through the ages. So, maybe this is your calling to also share and to speak the truth, to share about these embodiments and what it looks like and how we can get from, the point of being in the unconscious state of being to the superconsciousness state of being, right? The unconscious mind where we're unaware of what we're even doing here, or even unaware of our own programs or patterns or how certain things are impacting us in our life, to moving to, the subconscious where we're storing all those sideways kind of things that we don't, the blind spots. A lot of things show up in the subconscious, right? But that's where we start to bring consciousness to the subconscious, to witness our patterns, to start to work with them, to start to catch them and shift them and change them, because it's a choice for us to change them. This is the essence of this third chakra. It's the choice to be conscious. And once we're in conscious awareness, we have an even more expanded state of being that we can access, which is super consciousness, when we are linked in with the divine mind. And we become a clear channel for divinity to move through us and express through us. So it really is exciting times on the planet, and there are so many challenges that bump up along the way as we're clearing, as we're moving, as time is accelerating. So it can feel heavy at times. It can feel, like, there's a lot of feelings that can come up around it, feeling hopeless, feeling excitement, feeling exhausted, and it's like then sometimes feeling totally lit up and on purpose, So just being gentle with yourself, knowing that this is the process that we are moving through. And especially if you tend to feel other people's emotions, feel, the collective energy, it's really great to take time to be with yourself in your own energy field so that you can really establish what is yours and what is not yours. And also, really making sacred time every day for meditation is huge, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're just getting up in the morning and we're living by default, right? And it's there is only so much we can do through the mind. We really have so much stored within the body that is, unconscious, so many emotions, so many things that are required to be expanded outward, right? Because if we're holding on to old things in our body, old emotions, old experiences, and they're just stored away, for a rainy day when we start not feeling good, and then all of a sudden, or maybe that's the case every single day. Sometimes we get in states where it's like, you're not feeling well for days on end. And that's when these lower centers really require clearing, really require tending to the energy. And, thinking about the feelings, talking about maybe where it came from in the past is not as important as actually doing something to get the energy up the spine, into the brain centers, and out into the magnetic field, because it's releasing the pressure valve that is at the root chakra, right? Our kundalini is at the root, and it's dormant until we activate it. So if we're not doing something like breath work, chanting, even exercise, different things are going to help to start to create a pressure and release some of these energies and move the energy. Have you ever had a day where you're not really feeling well and you're having more of a sedentary day, and then you decide to get up and do something physical, like whether it's go for a walk, go to the gym, maybe you put on a song and you dance, or maybe you sing, maybe you shift the energy, you put on different music, and then you're using your voice to move the energy, and then all of a sudden things shift. And it doesn't really take as much as we think sometimes, but the part that I find hardest is usually when the resistance is there, when we get really, like I said, that sedentary, you know, feeling within ourselves where we don't want to move ourselves because it's comfortable, but it's not. It's so funny. It's comfort in the discomfort, or comfort in the familiar, but the familiar is uncomfortable because it's not pleasurable to sit in, those frequencies that keep us bound to the past, whether it's guilt or anger or shame or bitterness, resentment, frustration. It's like all those feelings that we've memorized over the years as part of our personality. It's time to move that. It's time to move the energy so that we can start to be a clear and clean conduit and slate. So a clear slate, clear conduit to be a new version of who we are, which is the true version of who we are. Because when we're in the flow and in the present moment and in that soul alignment, we are truly creating something new. But if we're holding on to the old emotions and we're stuck in that old emotion and we're feeling it again, we just keep recreating the same thing again and again and again. So now it's up to us to show up a little more, take that sacred, like I said, that sacred time for ourselves every day. If you can meditate in the morning, I highly recommend meditating in the morning before you start your day, because it will start to bring more intention into your day. And instead of creating by default and things just happening to you throughout the day and kind of not in a state of very conscious awareness, you will be more aware, more conscious of how you walk through your day, how you show up through your day, how you're thinking in your day, what you're speaking into existence, what your actions are. Are they in alignment? Are they out of alignment with who you want to be, who you really, not even who you want to be, but how you want to feel? You know, I think that's a great question to ask. How do I want to feel? It's so important. So today's meditation, we are here. So we have this Gemini temple. It's the choice point. Am I going to stay stuck in that battle between the ego and the soul, just going ping-ponging back and forth? Am I finally going to choose truth and ascend up into my heart? So in today's meditation, we're going to work with the sun finger. So our hand is a map of consciousness. The sun is our vitality. So it's the ring finger on each side. We're going to work with the energy of our vitality. We're going to chant a mantra. So again, mantra is your mind's vibration through sound. The sacred word that we will chant is Ong, O-N-G. This means creative consciousness. So when we're in that creative flow, in that state of consciousness where we're creating, that means we're not destructing. That means that we are using our energy in an aligned way. So by chanting Om, it's reverberating that sound current through the physical body to clear away any of those areas of blockage and resistance and stagnation. So it starts to clear the energy and lift the energy up the spine, up the central channel, and open everything up so that our magnetic field, our aura, becomes more expansive, more magnetic. And then we start to step into that embodiment of creative consciousness itself. So we chant this, and as we chant it, the mouth opens into an O shape and the tip of the tongue comes to the roof of the mouth as we chant. So the mouth stays open as we chant. We don't close it at the end. And when the NG is pronounced through our chant, you'll feel a vibration in the throat and in the nasal cavity area. So this is going to start to create vibration into the higher brain centers to start lighting everything up in the pineal gland and in the pituitary, opening you up to clarity, to more of receptivity to receive your intuition or information coming in, right? Gemini is all about information, so here we are. Okay, so as we chant, it's going to be one full breath on your exhale chanting. So you may match my length. You may be a little shorter. If you're a little shorter, then just inhale when you're ready and then chant again, and then inhale and chant again. So you don't have to match my breath. Your breath could be longer than my breath. So your Om could last longer than mine. So if it does, just keep going until you're ready to inhale, then inhale and begin again. Okay. Now the last aspect is that our eyes will be closed, focused at the third eye between the brows as we chant. And we won't be here long, 3 minutes. So we will lock it in for 3 minutes, really be present with the sound of this creative consciousness, of the chant, of the breath as we're moving it through our body, and just really being here and now. And this is the intention, to brain drain, to drain all the overactivity in the mind, relax the body, and to start to vibrate something of a higher nature and a higher frequency in our brain as we activate the Om, the creative consciousness within and without. All right, so allow yourself to get comfortable in your seat. You can sit on the floor cross-legged. If you want to sit in a chair, feet are uncrossed, flat on the floor. Anchor and root through your tailbone, elevate through your spine, all the way through the crown of the head, up into the heavens. Send the energy down into the earth and up into the heavens. And now inhale from the heavens and from the earth into your body at your heart center. Exhale, send the energy out in all directions. Now bring your hands together and interlace them, except the ring finger. So interlace the rest. Bring your right thumb over the left. Hands will come to the solar plexus, so just above the navel, between the navel and the rib cage. And the hands will be slightly in front of this area, so not touching, slightly in front. And the fingertips, so these two fingers here, the ring fingers, are going to be up on a 60-degree angle. So if you think this is 90, that is 60, right? 45, and that's straight out. So that would be 45, this is 60. So we're holding that 60-degree angle upward and we're locking this in. Now close your eyes. Gently draw your eye gaze up and into your third eye between the brows. And we begin to chant Om to activate our creativity, our superconsciousness, clearing our mind and opening into our divine flow. Inhale, exhale, and inhale to chant. Gently inhale, exhale. Release your palms into your lap, faced upward. Observe your energy, the sensations within. Again, gently inhale and exhale. Bring your full awareness, attention, and energy into this now moment as you softly and gently open your eyes. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you've had a certain experience, what this felt like for you. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So please share, and thank you again for being here with me. This meditation can be done every day if you found it helpful. Any of these meditations that I do on Mondays, if it's something that you feel resonant with, take it and do it for 40 days, every single day without a break in between, and just see the shift and the change that happens in your life. It is one of my biggest pleasures is seeing people succeed through these meditations and how their life shifts and changes. I know for me, it's been a big, big game changer, a big life changer for me. So much in my life has shifted since I daily meditated, right? It's been a whole process. And it continues to be so because I am a forever student. So I absolutely love sharing what has worked for me with you. If you feel like you want to go deeper and you want to receive some one-to-one attention, and either through a reading or through mentorship, or a specific meditation for your numerology or something like this, I do offer one-to-one sessions. So I will also drop my link below, and feel free to book a session with me there. So thank you again. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I will see you again very soon.